What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just want to share a little thought with you that I've been having this week, and it's this idea of putting yourself into the arena consistently for a long period of time. And I think consistently for a long period of time is a key part of this thought. One of the hardest things to do is have the courage to step into something challenging, something new, whether that be a physical challenge, whether that be a mental challenge, whether that be, exploring a new relationship, whatever it is. Stepping into that arena is very hard. It's the first kind of barrier of resistance that we need to overcome to be able to have some resemblance of success. Once we make that decision to step into the arena, which is hard, the next thing that comes is consistently showing up for a long period of time. And I think this is where sometimes we fall short. Because the barrier and the resistance to stepping into the arena in the first place is oftentimes very big. Once we make that decision, we think that is all that needs to be done. But what I've learned throughout my own personal experience with, trying new things, with listening and reading to people who have had success in realms and areas that I want to have success, or have just done some pretty cool things. They talk about the idea of consistently showing up. And again, I think this is another buzzword topic that you hear a lot now is consistently, or stacking bricks, or doing this for long periods of time. And I'm one of the people that preach it, but I think the reason why that is the case is that a lot of times we think that people who have success, it happens overnight. And it isn't the case. And, what I see often and what I've seen in myself is usually people quit far, far too soon, and they don't give themselves the opportunity to actually explore what their full potential is. I think if we're looking at the journey, and we're moving along, the ability to, 10x, let's say, your development is not as far off as you think, but it's not guaranteed by just stepping into the arena. And so what I think is people step into the arena and then they start pursuing this, journey, and things, after the novelty kind of wears off of doing this new thing, things start getting hard. We start realizing it's going to take a little bit longer than we take. And I think before we reach that big jump up, we quit. And what I want to share with you guys today is that if you are stepping into the arena, you've made that decision to take on a new challenge, commit for the long run. I would say commit for a minimum of 1 year. If you truly do want to improve that skill, or improve your fitness, or improve your business, I think committing for a minimum of a year at least gives you an opportunity to stay in the arena long enough to see some positive benefits. And what you will realize if you do commit for the long period of time is that you actually do get better, and you do gain skills, and you do become more fit. And you can then take those things that you're learning and apply them, and those compound. So I shared this a little bit. I shared this not that long ago on my Instagram about how skills compound, and how I used to take an hour and a half to 2 hours to make a single piece of content, and I made that same exact content in 10 to 15 minutes. And that's a good example of how skills compound. I've been developing that skill over years, more than just one, but now that, I've gone through the challenges of taking the time to figure it all out, I'm able to do it very quickly. But if you would have looked at me 2-3 years ago, you would have saw how frustrating it was for me to figure out, what camera do I use? How do I edit this? How do I add captions? How do I upload this to Instagram? How do I also upload it to YouTube? All of these things that now it's boom, 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 and I can produce this content at a high level in terms of consistency and doing it a lot faster, that's an example of how this compounds. Now, if I would have given up, 2 years ago when I ran into the first little bit of resistance of trying to figure out how do I record this on, my camera, export it from the camera, upload it to my computer to edit it on iMovie, I probably would have never gotten to the point where I'm putting out this piece of content or all the content that we put out on the movement. And this is just an example of how, I was excited to step into the arena. I took that challenge of stepping into the arena, but then I remained in that arena for a consistent enough, long enough period of time to start seeing the progress of how that plays out, instead of quitting too early. So I just want to jump on and share that with you guys, because I know a lot of people are always, challenging themselves and taking something new on or wanting to start a new habit. And I'm here for that, man. I think far too often we judge others and we judge ourselves for starting, failing. So if you're starting again for the 10th time, 100th time, 1,000th time, I applaud you. It takes a lot of courage to step into the arena. But the next step that you need to take is you need to commit to being in that arena for a long period of time and not quitting when you hit the first sign of resistance, the second sign of resistance, the third sign of resistance, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the 100th. Commit to building skills that will compound, and you will see how that can add to making you more fit, making you better at writing, making you a better educator, a better physio, whatever it is. Commit to that. So I just want to hop on here and share that with you. Hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to start trying to drop some of these little thoughts every now and then that come into my mind. Probably be joined by my friend here, Rogue, because she can't go 2 seconds without being pet. But appreciate you guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're stepping into the arena. I hope you're committing for a long period of time. And as always, I hope you're digging deep. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.